Homecoming, the Damage Control Vault. Homecoming opens minutes after the first Avengers. Adrian Toomes runs a blue-collar salvage crew, and he's just landed the contract of a lifetime, cleaning up the wreckage of the Battle of New York. He's got trucks, workers, payroll, a real business built around hauling away alien metal. And then Tony Stark's Department of Damage Control walks in with a government badge and rips the entire job out from under him. No warning, no payout. Toomes is wiped out overnight, stuck holding equipment he can't afford and a crew he can't pay. So he makes the choice that turns him into the Vulture. He keeps the Chitauri tech his guys already pulled out of the rubble, and he quietly starts turning it into black market weapons. Here's the part most people skate right past. That salvage isn't a generic movie prop. It's the literal invasion hardware from 2012, the same glowing purple Chitauri tech the Avengers fought against in the film that kicked off this entire universe. Homecoming didn't just reference the Avengers. It was built on their leftovers, and it runs so much deeper than the wingsuit. The big crate Toomes hijacks later in the movie is packed with the MCU's own history. Chitauri energy cores, broken parts of Ultron, chunks of Stark's Iron Legion armor. His engineer, a guy named Phineas Mason the Tinkerer, melts all of it down into shocker gauntlets, an anti-gravity climber, and that flying rig. The Vulture's entire arsenal is a scrapbook of every movie you already watched, hidden inside one New York warehouse. That's exactly why Homecoming hits so differently from the films around it. The villain isn't a god or an alien warlord with a magic rock. He's the working-class guy Stark steamrolled and never bothered to learn the name of, fighting back with Stark's own garbage. His whole speech is about how the rich and powerful don't care about people like him. The hidden tech isn't a fun background detail. It is the entire reason this villain works. Homecoming, Aaron Davis, and the first Miles tease. Donald Glover shows up in Homecoming as a guy named Aaron Davis. It's a small part. He tries to buy weapons off the Vulture's crew, gets webbed to his own car door, and ends up handing Peter the tip that cracks the whole case open. Blink, and you would write him off as a one-scene side character with a funny line. Except watch the screen the moment Spider-Man runs a background check on him. One of the aliases listed right there reads, The Prowler, and in the comics, Aaron Davis is the Prowler. More importantly, he has a nephew, a kid named Miles Morales. The second Spider-Man, and after the Spider-Verse movies, arguably the most beloved version of the character on the planet right now. Glover even says it out loud on screen. He tells Peter he wants these weapons gone because he has a nephew who lives in this neighborhood. There was even a deleted scene where he says the name Miles directly. Then there's a second detail buried in that same file that goes even harder. Another one of his listed aliases is a straight nod to the two creators who built Miles Morales, Brian Michael Bendis, and Sarah Pichelli. So Marvel didn't casually tease Miles here. They left a signature on it and dared you to catch it. And remember when this movie came out? 2017. We are years down the road now, with a whole animated trilogy in between, and there is still no proper live-action Miles in the MCU. Hold on to this one because the Tom Holland trilogy is nowhere near finished pointing at him. It comes back in a major way before the end of this list. Far From Home, Mysterio's crew are Stark's cast-offs. Quentin Beck strolls into Far From Home looking like a noble hero who fell out of another universe to save ours. He is none of that. He's a fired Stark Industries employee with a decade-old grudge, and the specifics are the best deep cut in the entire trilogy. Beck is the man who actually invented BARF, binarily augmented retro framing. That holographic memory projector Tony demoed at the very start of Civil War, the one he used to relive the last time he saw his parents. Beck poured years of his life into that breakthrough, and Tony stood on a stage at a university, slapped the name BARF on it, and turned a man's life's work into a cheap punchline in front of a packed crowd. Beck got fired, and he never let any of it go. Now look at exactly who is standing behind him in that crew. Every one of them is a person Stark burned. The standout is William Ginter Riva. You have absolutely seen him before, even if you completely forgot. He's the nervous scientist Obadiah Stane screams at in the very first Iron Man way back in 2008 for failing to rebuild the arc reactor out of a box of scraps. That is the same man, more than a decade later, now handing Beck his illusion drones. So add it all up. Mysterio's team is 11 years of fired, ignored, and humiliated Stark employees, crammed into one room, all of them aiming squarely at Tony's legacy. Mysterio was never really a multiverse threat from another world. He's a grudge that took over a decade to grow, and he built his entire fake hero identity out of Tony's leftover technology, which, if you think about it, is the exact same trick the Vulture pulled 2 movies earlier. If you're loving this breakdown, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We've got more coming. Let's keep going. Far From Home, the Earth 833 lie. Beck sells Peter an entire backstory, and it's wrapped in numbers that sound like total nonsense the first time you hear them. He says he comes from Earth 833. He tells Peter that our reality is Earth 616. He claims the snap tore a hole between dimensions, and that's how he crossed over to fight the elementals and protect this world. Every single word of it is a lie. There is no multiverse anywhere in Beck's story. It's drones, projection tech, and a genuinely committed acting performance designed to make a grieving teenager trust him. But those Earth numbers he keeps casually throwing around are not random movie gibberish at all. Earth 616 is the long-standing designation for the main Marvel universe in the comics, the reality where the core stories actually take place. Earth 833 is the real home of Spider UK, an alternate Spider-Man from across the pond who shows up in the Spider-Verse comics. So, Marvel slipped the genuine multiverse map straight into a con man script and trusted the audience not to clock it. And here's what makes it wild in hindsight. One single movie later, in No Way Home, the multiverse stopped being a lie and became the entire engine of the saga, the thing every major Marvel project after it would revolve around. A fake explanation in 2019 quietly predicted exactly where this whole story was heading. That is not the kind of coincidence you stumble into by accident. That's a long game setup wearing a villain's disguise, and almost nobody noticed it the first time around. No Way Home, Electro's Black Spider-Man line. Jamie Foxx's Electro gets pulled into the MCU from another universe entirely, and at one point he says something that's so easy to laugh at that most people forget it the second it leaves his mouth. After everything settles down, Max admits he's genuinely surprised that the kid under the mask turned out to be a white teenager from Queens. The way this Spider-Man looks out for poor neighborhoods and ordinary working people, Max just always assumed there had to be a black Spider-Man swinging around somewhere out there in the city. On the surface, it plays like a one-off joke to break the tension. It is anything but. That is Miles Morales. Again, cast your mind all the way back to Aaron Davis in Homecoming, the Prowler alias, the nephew, the hidden creator names. This is now the second time the trilogy has pointed a finger straight at Miles, except this time it's doing it through a character who has actually lived inside the multiverse and seen other Spider-Men. A guy from another reality is essentially telling you out loud that your Spider-Man already exists somewhere, you just have not run into him yet. 2 films, 2 completely separate nods, and still no live-action Miles anywhere on the screen. At this point, it has gone from a cute background Easter egg to the single most patient piece of setup in the entire franchise. Marvel keeps quietly reminding us the payoff is out there, and the longer they wait, the bigger that moment is going to land. No Way Home. The forget spell is one more day. At the end of No Way Home, Peter makes the single hardest call of his entire life. He asks Doctor Strange to make the whole world forget that Peter Parker ever existed. It closes the multiverse rift, and it saves reality. It also strips him of absolutely everything he has left. MJ, Ned, Happy, the entire life he spent 3 movies carefully building, all of it erased from every single memory except his own. He has to watch the people he loves look at him like a complete stranger. And if that gut punch of an ending felt strangely familiar to anyone who reads the comics, that's because it was lifted right off the page. This is One More Day, the infamous and genuinely hated Spider-Man storyline where Peter erases his own identity and even his marriage to Mary Jane in order to undo a tragedy. In the comics, it's a literal devil, Mephisto, who makes that deal with him. The movie smartly swaps in Doctor Strange and then pushes the idea somewhere even darker, because the world doesn't just forget his secret identity, it forgets the man himself completely, wiping out every relationship he ever had. And here's the kicker that ties this entire list directly to right now. In the comics, the very next storyline that comes after One More Day is called Brand New Day. That happens to be the exact title of the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. So this final Easter egg is not pointing backward into the past at all. It quietly handed us the name of what is coming next long before the cameras ever started rolling on it.